Hey there, gorgeous Rainbow Spotlight family. Get ready for a gag-worthy episode that's about to body slam your expectations. Today we're diving into a world where muscles meet mascara, where power meets pride, the fabulous world of LGBTQ+ wrestling. These 5 incredible superstars didn't just break down barriers, they looked absolutely stunning doing it. From pioneering legends to modern-day powerhouses, these wrestlers prove that you can suplex stereotypes while serving looks. So sit back, grab your glitter, and let's celebrate these ring warriors who dared to be authentically themselves. Rainbow Flex. Mike Perrow, the modern powerhouse Prince Flex Alert family. Because we're about to meet wrestling's most impressive gentle giant. Standing 6 feet 4 inches and weighing 300 pounds of pure muscle, Mike Perrow isn't just big, he's beautiful. With those piercing eyes, perfectly groomed beard, and a physique that looks like it was carved from marble, Mike proves that power can be pretty. Ring presence for days. When Mike enters an arena, honey, everybody notices. His combination of raw power and graceful movement is like watching a bodybuilder do ballet, and doing it flawlessly. During one match in Orlando, his powerful entrance had such an impact that 3 rows of fans collectively gasped. And not just from intimidation, style, evolution. While most big men stick to basic black, Mike serves looks in the ring. Those custom-fitted singlets showcase every perfectly sculpted muscle, while his entrance gear gives us modern gladiator realness. And can we talk about his gear color coordination? The other wrestlers actually started asking him for fashion advice. Now that's what we call influence. Power moves with grace. Don't let that massive frame fool you. Mike moves like a cruiserweight. His agility defies physics and his strength moves are pure art. Remember that time he picked up 2 opponents at once? One fan was overheard saying, "I don't know if I should be scared or in love." Spoiler alert, the answer is both. Behind the muscles. Since coming out in 2017, Mike has redefined what it means to be a gay athlete in professional wrestling. His famous quote, "I'm not a gay wrestler, I'm a wrestler who happens to be gay, and I happen to be fabulous at both." And honey, not a single lie was told. Scott Hall said it perfectly. Mike Perrow isn't just changing the game, he's creating a whole new one where strength and authenticity go hand in hand. And trust me, nobody does it more impressively, does it? Patterson, the pioneer of wrestling glamour family. Get ready to meet a legend who proved that wrestling could be both powerful and glamorous. Born Pierre Clermont in Montreal, Patterson wasn't just wrestling's first gay superstar, he was one of its most stylish performers. Standing 6 feet 1 inch with those piercing blue eyes and that iconic platinum blonde hair, Pat brought a unique flair to the squared circle that had fans mesmerized, ring presence alert. While other wrestlers relied on brute force, Pat served elegance in the ring. His signature flowing robes in vibrant colors, perfectly styled hair, and graceful yet powerful moveset created a whole new style of wrestling performance. That famous sunset flip? Pure poetry in motion. His matches were like watching a dramatic ballet with muscles. In his prime, Pat's physique was absolutely stunning. Those perfectly toned muscles weren't just for show. They helped create some of the most beautiful technical wrestling matches of the era. The way he moved in the ring was revolutionary, combining European grace with American showmanship. Fellow wrestlers often said Pat could make a broomstick look like $1 million, with his incredible ring psychology and fluid movement style. His trademark look, the dazzling robes, the perfectly groomed appearance, the manicured presentation, challenged the rough and tough wrestling stereotypes of his era. Even his signature finishing moves had a theatrical flair that had audiences captivated. Pat didn't just win matches, he performed them like high art. The real TEA? Pat's influence on wrestling's aesthetic was revolutionary. In an era of basic trunks and plain robes, he dared to wear custom-designed outfits that sparkled under the arena lights. His ring gear collection was legendary. Each piece custom-made with intricate details and flowing fabrics that added drama to every movement. "Wrestling isn't just about power," he once said. It's about creating moments of beauty. Those matches in Madison Square Garden, pure magic. Pat could command an audience of thousands with just a graceful gesture or a perfectly timed flip. His famous evening matches were particularly stunning, the arena lights catching his blonde hair like a halo as he executed those picture-perfect moves. Even his opponents would marvel at how he could make violence look elegant. Insider details. Before each match, Pat spent hours perfecting his presentation. That signature hair was meticulously styled, his ring gear precisely adjusted, because, in his words, the moment you step through that curtain, you're creating art. His pre-match ritual became legendary among fellow wrestlers, who nicknamed him the Perfectionist Prince. But it wasn't just about looks. Pat's technical wrestling ability was breathtaking. The way he could transition from a graceful leap into a powerful hold had audiences on their feet. His famous matches with champion Bob Backlund were called wrestling symphonies by sports writers of the era. Every movement was choreographed to perfection, every sequence telling a story. In the locker room, younger wrestlers would beg Pat to teach them his secrets, not just about wrestling moves, but about presence and presentation. Pat taught me that being strong doesn't mean you can't be beautiful, shared WWE Hall of Famer Roddy Piper. His influence can still be seen today in performers who combine athletic ability with theatrical flair. Even in his later years as a WWE executive, Pat never lost that special sparkle. Whether he was producing matches or making rare on-screen appearances, he carried himself with an elegance that commanded respect. His legacy lives on in every wrestler who dares to bring artistry to athleticism. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said it perfectly. Pat Patterson didn't just wrestle matches, he created masterpieces in the ring, and he looked fabulous doing it. Chris Kanyon, wrestling's hidden gem. Spill the tea, family, because we're about to dive into one of wrestling's most captivating stories. Born Chris Kluseritz in Queens, New York, Kanyon was the definition of a wrestling dreamboat. Standing 6 feet 4 inches with those smoldering dark looks, chiseled physique, and a smile that could light up any arena, he was every fan's secret crush. And honey, some of those fans weren't just admiring his wrestling moves. Ring presence for days. While other wrestlers were busy being basic, Kanyon served innovation. His athletic moves were so ahead of their time that wrestlers today are still copying his style. We see you, copycat queens. That perfectly sculpted body could execute moves that had fans and fellow wrestlers alike picking their jaws up off the floor. Backstage tea. While other wrestlers were busy being macho meatheads, Kanyon was revolutionizing the game with his innovative moveset. His famous flatliner finisher. Iconic. The way he executed it was so smooth, other wrestlers would literally line up backstage just to watch him practice. One time, a young rookie was so mesmerized watching Kanyon train that he walked straight into a wall. Now that's what we call impact. Style alert. In an era of neon spandex and questionable fashion choices, looking at you 90s wrestling, Kanyon's ring gear was serving. Those custom-designed tights perfectly showcased his physique, while his entrance attire gave us high-end fashion meets wrestling royalty. His Jersey Boys-inspired gear in WWE. While everyone else was wearing basic trunks, Kanyon showed up looking like he just stepped off Broadway. Those customized entrance jackets had more sparkle than the arena lights. Security actually thought there was a glitter explosion backstage. OMG moments. Remember that infamous pool scene in WCW where Kanyon emerged from the water like a wrestling Poseidon? Honey, that wasn't just a spot. That was a moment. The way the water glistened off his perfectly toned muscles had everyone feeling a certain type of way. One fan famously fainted in the front row. And honestly, we get it. Speaking of moments, those WCW matches were pure art in motion. Kanyon's athletic background in gymnastics gave him a grace that most big men could only dream of. When he hit that perfect split-legged moonsault, Even the straight boys in the audience couldn't help but snap their fingers in appreciation. His matches with Diamond Dallas Page weren't just wrestling, they were athletic theater, the real T. Kanyon wasn't just a pretty face with killer moves. They called him the innovator of offense, but backstage, some called him the choreographer because his matches looked more like dangerous dance numbers than fights. One time he planned such a complex sequence that his opponent needed a spreadsheet to remember it all. Behind the curtain. While maintaining his private life during his active career, Kanyon was quietly mentoring young talents backstage. He had this famous saying, "If you can't make it look pretty, make it look painful. But honey, why not do both?" Diamond Dallas Page said it perfectly. Kanyon didn't just innovate moves, he created magic in that ring. And trust me, looking that good while doing it, that's a talent in itself. Kenny Kasanova, the dazzling drama king gather round family. Because we're about to spill the tea about wrestling's most theatrical showman. Born to entertain, Kenny Kasanova brought a whole new meaning to ring presence. Standing 6 feet 0 inches with that classic pretty boy look and theatrical flair, Kenny proved that wrestling could be as dramatic as Broadway. Ring persona alert. While others were playing tough guys, Kenny was serving drama. His entrance? Pure theater, darling. Those flowing robes and dramatic poses had audiences living their fantasy. One iconic moment at Madison Square Garden, he paused so long at the top of the ramp striking poses that the timekeeper actually checked if his clock was broken. Style secrets. Kenny's ring gear wasn't just clothing, it was costume. Every outfit told a story, from his bedazzled jackets to those perfectly coordinated boots. Legend has it that his wardrobe trunk had more sequins than the entire costume department of Las Vegas, and those pre-match rituals. He spent more time on his hair than most wrestlers spent on their warm-ups. Performance T. In the ring, Kenny didn't just wrestle, he performed. His matches were like watching a soap opera with suplexes. That signature move where he'd dramatically fall after a punch, he practiced it in front of a mirror for hours. One referee actually got so caught up in Kenny's theatrical selling that he forgot to count a pinfall. Backstage whispers. While maintaining his flamboyant persona, Kenny was revolutionizing how wrestling could be presented. His famous saying backstage, "If you're not entertaining yourself, you're not entertaining anyone, sweetie." He even started a trend of wrestlers taking acting classes, though nobody could quite match his level of drama. Bruce Pritchard said it perfectly. Kenny Kasanova didn't just understand wrestling, he understood showmanship. Every match was like watching a one-man theater production with occasional body slams. And there you have it, family. From Pat Patterson's pioneering elegance to Mike Perrow's modern muscle magic, these 5 incredible superstars prove that the wrestling ring has room for everyone. They didn't just change the game, they made it fiercer, stronger, and so much more fabulous. Can't get enough of these boundary-breaking legends? Want more stories about icons who body-slammed stereotypes while looking absolutely gorgeous? Smash that subscribe button like it's your finishing move. Drop a comment below telling us which of these stunning superstars inspired you the most. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because trust me, darling, you don't want to miss what's coming next on Rainbow Spotlight. Until next time, keep sparkling, keep fighting, and remember, in this ring, everyone's welcome to be their authentic selves.